was decent.
All right, everybody. Sorry about those technical difficulties, but we do have marquisdan with Wizards and Warriors 3.
Yep. Hi there. Yeah, I just had a little bit of a thing set up wrong here. So we're a little behind now, so I'm just going to get right into it, but I will explain everything as I'm going. But yeah, so we'll give the game a quick reset, and I'll count you down from 3, and the screen's going to go dark, and when it comes back up, that's when the time starts. So we'll go 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Wizards and Warriors 3. If you are familiar at all with the first 2 Wizards and Warriors games, they're more like kind of traditional platformers. This game is a very unfinished Metroidvania from 1992. There's a little hiccup in the development cycle where the people who are making the game, they're a subsidiary of Rare, they got their studio closed down for some financial stuff. And then it was developed in-house by Rare by some other people. So there's a lot of missing content, but it's still really fun. The music's really jamming. It's got a great soundtrack by David Weiss. If you're familiar with any of his other games like Battletoads or any of the old NES Rare stuff, he also does the Donkey Kong Country soundtracks. It's really great music. So the gameplay loop in this game is that since it's a Metroidvania, we need to get tools to get through the map. Like, I can go anywhere I want. If I don't have the right tools, I'm not going to be able to get past certain barriers. So the tools in this game all come from getting different costumes. There's thief costumes, wizard costumes, and warrior costumes, or knight costumes. And you get those by joining guilds. So what I'm doing right now is I'm joining the first level thief guild, and that's going to give me a costume that lets me sneak past a guy later. The thief guilds are all auto-scrollers. During the second 2, we'll have some time for donations, but I kind of want to explain stuff for this one. This boss, we're going to set up a little AI manip. If I can get on the right spot here, I think it's good. Okay, perfect. So now as I just alternate 2 inputs here, the boss will continuously dodge until he dies. There we go, perfect. If I had messed those inputs up, I would have gotten attacked. So now we've got our first costume. And like I said, this is going to let us sneak past a guy, which we'll do in just a moment. But first we have to buy some more keys. Because like with any Nintendo game, the keys will open any door, but they only work once. So we need to buy a whole bunch. Eventually we're going to get a way to open doors without keys, but for now, we're just going to spend all our cash on those. Now we're going to go down to the first level Wizard Guild. And all the Wizard Guilds are down in these caves. So I should kind of explain what my goal in this game is. Aside from getting costumes and playing Pretty Dress Up, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get to the evil wizard Malka, who's always the bad guy in Wizards and Warriors games. He's taken over this town, he's deposed the king, and he's shapeshifted to look like the king. And he's locked himself up inside of the throne room. So we can't really go in the front door. We have to sneak up. There's a secret entrance to the throne room in the very bottom of the caves, but it's locked, and we need 4 jewels to open that door. So we get 3 jewels from rescuing princesses that we'll do throughout the run, and 1 we have to fight a dragon for. And since I'm doing the all guilds glitchless route, you're going to see me do all of the boss fights. I won't use any glitches to skip anything. So it should be a pretty fun time. Okay. Ooh, let's set up. So this Wizard Guild is not too hard, but these jumps are never free because these onions that I'm jumping on are a little bit glitchy. There we go. So the wizard bosses are all the same. There's usually a safe spot you can stand in. And there we go. That's the wizard boss. And the Wizard Guild is going to let us shoot projectiles. And we'll mostly use those to fight some bosses later, but I'm going to use it to get kind of to the top half of the map. So as with any Wizards Warriors game, this game is pretty much all vertical platforming. Going to need to climb all the way up throughout the town to to get to the top, and the castle is built directly on top of all these rickety sticks and buildings, and I don't know who the architect was. But we're going to take a little detour here and fight a mini-boss. All of the guilds require a statue to access them, and all the silver statues are guarded by mini-bosses. So this is the Silver Knight statue, or sorry, Silver Thief statue, which we're not going to use for quite a while, but it's on our way, so we're just going to snag it. Now, I'm going to try for kind of a hard jump where I hit the last pixel of that window. Oh, I didn't need the last pixel, I guess, but now we're going to try to line up here. There's some visual cues I'm using. I'm trying to get just to the right of the edge of that building. We'll kill that beehive, and that's going to let me jump here without running, hopefully, if I did it right. Perfect. And now, like I said, we just climb all these buildings. They're all built on top of stilts, and somehow all these buildings end up supporting a castle. I don't know who designed it. And now we're going to join our first Knights Guild. Oops, missed my jump by just a little bit there. All the bronze statues just out in the open. And then after the first Knights Guild, we'll have just a little bit of kind of boring platforming, which would be a great time for a donation. But I've got to knock the Knight Guild out first. So the Knight Guilds are all RNG based. There's a bunch of boulders and spikes that can spawn. Sometimes they'll spawn right on top of you. Here, I'm going to go for a jump that requires a subpixel to be set. I did get it. Perfect. And this boss here, I'm going to be forcing him into a rest state by attacking a certain way. If my sword is up, it'll intersect with his sword, and that forces him to go back. But the boss's health as it gets lower, he starts attacking more quickly, at which point the boss is going to always hit me one time. Okay, so now we're going to climb up. So yeah, if we have time for a donation, this would be an alright spot. Otherwise, there's some other spots coming up.
Alright, we do have a $5 donation from Double Double saying, "Here's $5 for the swear jar." Remember, if you want any information about donating, just type in !donate into the chat. Perfect.
Thank you very much for the donation, Double Double, and filling up that swear jar. Hopefully I don't have to add anything to it. Alright, so this boss is pretty easy. We just kind of knock him around. And that gets us our Silver Knight statue, and we're going to hold on to that for a long time. But it is, as I said earlier, just on the way to what we're doing. So, one of the big concepts of speedrunning this game is to try to stay in the thief costume as much as you can, because it's the fastest one. Alright, we're just going to fall off a building here, it's fine. But, you can't always stay in the thief costume because sometimes it's slower to change costumes, so we'll end up doing some of the sections as a knight. Alright, so here's the second thief guild. It's all just kind of secret doors, and some of them are traps, so it's just a little bit of memorization. Otherwise, if you fall in the spikes, you die. So you definitely don't want to just fall in the spikes. And don't ride the elevator into the spikes. And then there's a little bug with it. The hitbox for the spikes is actually on the very bottom of the screen, so you can go into them a little bit. Where does this guy store his inventory? I don't know, in his pockets probably. Yeah, not when you're 8, exactly. Yeah, this game kicked my butt when I was a kid. Alright, so now we're going to count 7 notches in the floor, and... oh, I messed it up. It's very hard to get on the first cycle. So with the silver and gold thieves, there's a trick to make them dodge back, but you can only do it for a small amount of time. That was a pretty good fight, actually. But you can only make them dodge 3 times, otherwise they start hitting you back. Ooh, looking at my life split, we are exactly even with world record pace right now. So, it could be exciting. It's probably not going to happen. But Oops, especially since I missed that jump up. I want to catch that little overhang. That slows my descent so I don't get that stun animation. So now we're off to fight what I think is a pretty fun boss. It is a giant worm that flies around. We got to use fireballs to attack it because it's too far away. Like, you could conceivably attack it with this sword, but it's probably not in anyone's interest to do that. There it is. So he's always going to shoot once here. But then we can just block it. He always has the same pattern. Once you memorize it, it's not too bad. His RNG comes in the form of when does the boss attack, right? So I got a really good pattern of shots there. It didn't have to block anything. It just let me keep shooting the boss. That was a really smooth worm fight. And there's our silver wizard statue, and we're going to use that right away. Yeah, I love the attacking in this game. It's... Hold on just a second. Okay. It's different than most NES games. Most NES games, you hit B and your character like does a sword attack or slash or something. In this game, you hold down B and then you tell the guy where to attack. So you can attack in a bunch of different directions and stuff, like this. So there's potential for like really involved swordplay and stuff. It doesn't really get used. Because as I mentioned before, they didn't really have time to implement a lot in this game, and that kind of includes enemies. So I don't know if you noticed, as I'm running around and platforming and stuff, there's not a lot of guys in my way. There's also a mechanic where if I'm in the correct costume for each part of the game, the enemies won't attack me. So, for example, if I'm the thief in town, the knight in the castle, or the wizard in the caves, they generally leave me alone. Alright, so once we get into silver bosses... Oh, it's too far back. Let me line this up again. Okay. Once we get to silver bosses, they don't have iframes anymore. Or they have very short iframes. So we can just hammer that attack button. Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is 1992. I think if you want to compare it to other games that came out that year... I don't know what NES games came out that year, but I think we're looking at stuff like Hebereki and other late NES titles like that. Also, Super Mario World, if you're looking at SNES, came out this year. This is just kind of its contemporaries. Alright, so now we want to go all the way to the top of the caves as fast as we can. We're just going to use a quick secret door, and here we are, top of the caves. The glitchless route, like all the routes use secret doors, but glitchless route especially uses secret doors because we can't use any skips or damage boosts. We can't clip into any walls. We have to just climb using intended game mechanics. Yeah, this game is pretty old. It's almost 30. So the hitbox on this boss is completely screwed up. You notice I'm attacking the air to the left of the boss. This was the hardest boss when I was a kid. Like, I could never figure out how to beat this guy. And it turns out it's just because he's incredibly bugged. You just don't attack where the boss is. The boss's hitbox is weird, and the crowbar hitbox is really messed up too. Alright, I'm going to go for a really hard jump that requires me to have a subpixel set that I don't have any way of checking ahead of time, so we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, this is a pretty easy backup. Oh, we got it. Nice. That's really, really killer. You're not really intended... Well, I mean, you're just jumping, right? But, like, that's not the normal way of going up here. Yeah, Little Samson Big Man 5. Yeah, Little Samson's so good. Like, if you guys haven't played that, definitely check that game out. Alright, so here we go. Silver Knight Guild. I'm going to use the Knight costume up here because I need to be in the Knight costume to join the guild, and it's not worth changing into the Thief for this section since it's all vertical, and the Thief's speed is all horizontal. This boss at the end of this is the hardest boss in the run. It's skipped in any percent. That's not super helpful. That was not even RNG, that was just terrible timing. I screwed that up. So a lot of the mechanics, especially with Knight bosses, are just going to be iframe abuse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some inputs to lower how far the boss knocks me back, I just already screwed it up, actually. So this might be a little bit of a slow fight. Yeah, there we go. So the goal is hit him when I have iframes, and then lower the knockback that he gives me so that I can get more hits in. So it looks like I'm getting my butt kicked the whole time, but I'm kind of intending to take damage. So that's going to kind of eat into all of the extra time I got by getting that sub-pixel jump. But I am still 5 seconds ahead of world record pace, so I'm mildly excited. Alright, so now we're going to fake a guard out here. He's walking towards me, I'm just going to hop up, and then he walks away. And then we're just going to ask this guy to move, and we are at our 3rd level Thief Guild. There's only 2 people who run this category, so it's not. I mean, I've played it a lot, and I put a lot of work into routing it and stuff, but it's not like a super competitive world record. But it would be nice to get a new PB here. So this one is, in my opinion, easier than the 2nd level Thief Guild, because you just have these daggers and arrows, but they always come in the exact same time, and most of them won't even come close to hitting you, except for this one. This one's kind of trolly. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I actually got it. I did not expect to get it. You ever get a trick in speedrunning and then like kind of mess up because you didn't expect to get it? Alright, so this guy has too much health to do it in one cycle, but we're in really good shape. Yeah, it's called Marathon Run. Exactly. Okay, so now we're going to the hardest platforming part of the game, but before I do that, I'm just going to be falling down for a while, and we're going to go all the way to the bottom of the cave. So I do have about, I don't know, 10-15 seconds here if we got a donation at all. I thought I hit the thing.
Well, we do want to make up that Radio did give 10 gifted subs to the community, so thank you again for that, Radio.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, that was very generous of you. Thank you very much. Alright, I'm going to go for a pretty tough jump here. Perfect. There we go. You have to, like, pause for half a beat before you move forward. Oh, he shot twice. That's that RNG I was talking about before. This worm boss is actually... We're going to end up fighting 2 in a row now. The first worm is the exact same boss I already fought, with the exception of the RNG shots. And one of them I did not block because I didn't think he was going to shoot twice. Alright, so now... I know I messed up that fall after Wizard, so it might be tough. I don't know if there's a lot of time saves left, but we will see. We're going to try for it. It really, honestly, a world record in this game comes down to two... There's two kind of like run enders, or time sinks at the end. One is the Wizard 3 Guild. If you've ever played this game, you'll see, or you know what I'm talking about, and you'll see it here in a minute. That can really add up time. And then one is the Dragon. The Dragon's just this RNG fest that sometimes costs you like 3 minutes. So we'll find out. So we're off to join the 3rd Wizard Guild. This is the hardest section of the game. Wizard Guilds are all, as I mentioned before, we're jumping on onions to get to the top of the guild. Well, now the onions are shallots. They are half the size, and they're buggier. So it looks like I have a little space, but I probably have about 2/3 of the space of what it looks like when I'm jumping on these things, and the physics change as I climb up this thing. Like, there's the hardware, I don't know if it's the programming or the hardware, something just does not like having this many sprites on at the screen at the same time, and stuff gets a little bit funky. But yeah, this part's really, really tough. So I'm probably I might be a little bit radio silent as I go up here. Or I might just keep talking out of nervousness, which is what usually happens. Right, here we go. This part's super, super tough. There we go. Yeah, you see how I kind of like clipped into the dang onion? Ah. It's terrible. I was like fully inside of that platform. Like, I don't know what's going on. Alright, world record's probably shot, but we can still play. Yeah, no, it happens. It's the corners. The corners aren't really there. Jeez. One more try here. And by one more try, I mean we're gonna try until we get it. I have 4 lives, so we probably got like 30 tries. We're gonna make this. This is why my estimate. Okay, so my PB on this game is 30 minutes and 57 seconds. My estimate is 35 minutes. So it is because of this, and it is because of the dragon. Because once this part starts going badly, you get off your rhythm, and you just fall. So, but it's all good. This part is kind of, hold on just a second, kind of why I started speedrunning this game, because I hated this part when I was a kid. I got so mad at it all the time, I could never beat it. So I'm like, I'm gonna beat this game. Alright, this is the hardest jump in the game. The physics get really, really screwed up. There we go. That's way harder than it looks. It's tough. Oh no, oh god, okay. Held A down, just slightly too short there. There we go. First try, you all saw it. So, luckily the boss is easy. You're just hammering down the D-pad as fast as you can. And now we're 2 minutes behind. That's all good. That guild is dangerous. We padded the estimate just because I knew there's potential for that to go badly. So now we have to go from the very bottom of the caves to the very, very top of the tallest tower in the castle. And that could take quite a while. Luckily, we have a nice system of secret doors that's going to get us up there in no time. And we're at the top of the caves. Yeah, thank you for the GGs and the blessed RNGs there. The blessed RNGs I'm really going to need for Night 3. Alright, here is our first princess. Now, to get their jewels, they're going to say, you have to marry me. So we have to get engaged to these princesses, or else they won't let us, like, beat the game. The problem is that we can't say no, right? Like, once we enter that conversation, we can't exit it until we agree to marry them. So we're gonna be, like, triple engaged here. Alright, now we're in the castle. We're going to use our neat trick we got from Wizard 3 to kind of float up here. This is Glitchless route. That looks like a glitch. Those are actually blocks you can jump through. So it's decided as a community that that is not a glitch, or doesn't count as a glitch in this category. Yeah, pretty much forced. I don't know. It's a little screwy. Alright, so yeah, we just knocked that guy around. We have to keep attacking him quickly because if we let him stand around, he's going to talk. And talking wastes frames and wastes time. Alright, here we go. And now we have to get to the very top of the castle. Again, we can levitate now. Levitating is slow, but it can get us where we need to go. The wizard has the highest jump of any costume. It's very handy. So now is like the primo time for donations or any information about the marathon, because this is a very exciting part of the game. A lot of inputs where we just hold down B. So I'm gonna take a quick sip of coffee.
All right. Well, remember, you can type in !donate to donate to Extra Life, which is what we are raising money for. All money does go towards the Children's Miracle Network and Texas Children's Hospital.
All right, perfect. Yeah, get those donations in. This is for the kids. It's a good, really great cause. I'm a little behind, so I'm going to throw a swag axe up here. But yeah, all the copy and pasted enemies are great. The artist for this game, I think his name is John Pickford. I always forget. There's two guys called the Pickford brothers who make video games, and they worked on this. There's that bad RNG I'm talking about. RNG, come on. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay. The artist loves giant sprites, right? Like, so... I don't know. The game just wants me to lose here, I think. It's spawning boulders on me continuously. But if you ever played Wizard Warriors 2, like, you remember those giant boss fights and the big animated bird and stuff. Okay, so this boss has a thing where I need to reset him, actually, because I took too much damage from those boulders. Anyway, I'm gonna... Oh, shoot, I have to play it super safe, actually. Okay. I'm gonna redo the guild. It's too bad. At least I can explain what the boss is doing now. I took too much damage from the RNG on the way in. So, the boss, we knock ourselves back a short distance first when he hits us, and then we can go back to hitting him right away. And then we let him knock us back a long way. And the long knockback puts us in a perfect spot where my hitbox and the boss's hitbox are going to overlap. Run is not going well at all. Also, I have a special guest, my cat. Hello, Disco. This is Disco. Discordia. Disco for short. She is here to help me play. I have never had such bad RNG in this guild. Like, I've run this game 400 times, and I've never had this bad of RNG. It is just like, it knows it's a marathon. Those boulders just can't spawn. Okay, here we go. We got it this time. Alright, like I said, we'll let him have one cycle. We'll go and hit him as much as we can. Short knockback. Hit, long knockback. Overlap hitboxes. He resets. And we just follow that pattern. And we win. First try. Yep. So this is Disco. Disco. Up, kitty. Alright, we're gonna go for a pretty hard jump here. I did it a little short, so it's not too big of a time loss, though. Like I said, it was a hard jump. Here's our second princess. There's one in each area. There's one in the castle, one in the caves, and one in town. Alright, now we just kind of fall down all the way to the bottom. There's 1, 2. We're just going to hug the edge here to know where we are, and then go out. And I am going to make a kind of rare detour that I don't usually make in this category, because my health is very low. Usually I don't fail the guilds. Every time you fail a guild, you lose 3 health. This was a particularly bad run for me, so we're just going to top that health off real fast. Luckily, we've done 9 guilds. Each guild gives us $1,000, so we had like 9 grand there to spend. Alright, so now we're going to go to our last princess. She is over here, up in the caves. Oh yeah, did we get a raid or something? Or is it the cat? Oh, thank you for hosting us, Speedrun Hype TV. I must have missed that. I really appreciate it. Welcome all the new viewers. We are raising money for Children's Miracle Network. Do exclamation point donate if you'd like to get more info. This is Wizard Warriors 3, a janky late NES Metroidvania. And I am sort of... Alright, yeah, we're at the end here. This is going to be our dragon fight. The dragon fight is a little bit weird. Like I mentioned before, there's a little RNG to it. If I get hit, there's a chance I'll fall off, and I'll have to restart the fight. If I have iframes on, I'll fall through platforms because they're not coded very well. The dragon can sometimes come under me and knock me off the platform. The way this fight works is that the dragon's hitbox is whichever head is active, right? And if you've ever played like a Mega Man game, you're going to be familiar with the fact that you can only have so many projectiles on screen at once, right? So I think I can have 3 or 4 projectiles on at one time. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. I have to keep jumping if I have iframes on. If I fall down, the whole fight resets. The other thing you guys might notice is that the music here does not particularly befit like a boss fight. It's not like scary boss fight music. And that's because the music is actually controlled by what costume you're in. So what you're hearing right now is the night costume music. Oh no, that was a terrible time to fall. So sometimes when he hits you, your character turns around. And if your character turns around, that means you can't jump and you just fall down. So, we're gonna do this one more time. But don't worry, like I said, I padded the estimate just for stuff like this. We might be like a minute overestimate because of the night. I didn't expect to fail the night guild, and I failed it twice because one was dice and one was me messing up. Seriously, never seen such bad boulder spawns in my life. Nice of the dragon to get right next to you. If he gets next to you, you don't have to hit him with the fireballs. You can just slash with the sword. The any percent route has to fight this dragon as the wizard, the one with the fireballs. And the fireballs do not go across the screen. So you have to kind of wait for the dragon to get close to you. There we go. That's what we wanted to do. So we've now got all 4 crown jewels. We've got to do our climb up to the last boss. Luckily, the gate to the boss is right there by the dragon. Makes it very easy. And the climb has no combat or anything. It's just kind of like tense music and platforming. So if we have any donations, this is a perfect time. Otherwise, I'm just going to be climbing as fast as I can.
All right, we did receive a $5 donation from Joseph, as well as we want to thank Speedrun Hype TV for that huge host.
Yeah, thank you very much for the host and for the donation. We always appreciate it. The trick with this is I want to try to get as few jumps as possible, obviously. Didn't quite get it. But there's certain sections we're going to have to levitate. So the whole strategy here is walk when you can, because walking is the fastest, then jump when you have to, and then levitate when you absolutely have to, because jumping is like 75% of the speed of walking, and levitating is just like the slowest thing in the game. But occasionally you just need that extra height. We're going to be sticking the wizard costume, even though it's the slowest costume for this whole climb, because it has the best vertical reach. Also, it's kind of fun to just jump around in your pajamas, I guess. There we go. And this is the last section for the town. So there's 2 sections in the climb for each area of the game. There's 2 cave, 2 town, and 2 palace. So we're in the palace section now. This one is the easiest screen in the game, I think. You just kind of tap A. Alright, and here we are in the last room. I'm gonna go for a trick called the alcove trick. Try it one more time. There we go. Because of the physics in this game, it's faster to go into the alcoves and levitate at an angle and then jump rather than levitating straight up. It actually saves a lot of time. Alright, here we are. This is the last boss. We call him the Burger King. He is very hard to... tap a what, exactly? Yeah, pajama hype. Alright, here he is. If you get all the way here, and you say yes to this question, instant game over. It'd be the most frustrating thing. I have lost speedruns to that before. Now the boss will fly back for phase 1. He flies back and forth and he launches these fireballs. They're very hard to dodge as the knight. I'm gonna try to get it, but once I get hit by one, I lose my momentum a little bit. And it's kind of hard to get the timing down again. I went the wrong way. Oh, he didn't even shoot. What the heck? Okay, I'll take it. Yeah. He has several different fireball patterns. Apparently one of them is nothing. It's the easiest one to dodge. This is a halfway decent fight. Like, you always get hit a little bit. Like, in theory, you could dodge it all, but it's just the knight's too slow, and you have to, like, stop attacking really early, and sometimes you go for those extra hits. So here we are, phase 2. Phase 2 is incredibly easy compared to phase 1. You just kind of, like, shoot up. I don't know. You get under him and just shoot him a lot. That's time. Sorry, I didn't say that was coming up. If you are photosensitive to flashing lights, like, look away, because it's going to get bright and flashy like crazy. But what we're doing is we're jumping into a time portal. They were going to make another game in this series called Laser Sword. Like, the first game was Wizard Warriors, the second one was Iron Sword, this one was Silver Sword. The next one was going to be Laser Sword. It's going to be way in the future. We're like chasing Malkiel through time now, but they never made it. The Rare doesn't even own the rights to this game anymore, so I don't think we're going to see any more of these. But thank you for the GGs. I want to give a couple quick shout outs. First one to my wife, who is wrangling our toddler right now so I can play video games. I want to shout out the Wizard Warriors community, Daskus and Jackie, Johnny C, and Limit Break. Also Peapot Dot and Mario. They're all great people. Especially Daskus and Jackie, who taught me how to play. And then also shout out Bartan and Arcus, who got me into speedrunning. And of course I want to shout out our wonderful Decent Speedies hosts. This is a great marathon so far. It's amazing production value for our first marathon. Like, it's really cool. But yeah, everybody stay tuned. I think Pinkish Princess is up next with Pokemon, I want to say. So that should be really fun. And yeah, just keep watching and donating and supporting the cause. And thank you for sticking through my run, even though we had some bumps. And hope everybody has a good day.